Welcome to Rielle, the Everwise. I almost said Riverwise. I mean, I guess she could be wise in a river. She looks like she'd be wise. Anyway, welcome to Rielle. As far as our opening hand goes, if we're going Rielle versus Rielle, I don't really like this opening hand. We need to be a little bit more aggressive on this one. And yes, I like this a lot. We've got a wheel effect and we've got chromatic lantern, so that sounds like a pretty good plan. I think at this point, what we'll probably do is, because I want to make all these lane drops, I want to get chromatic lantern down. Dawson is nice, but since we are playing a wheel effect deck, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot to be able to. And I just told our opponent, "Ha! Good luck, have fun" in the chat when it's Rielle versus Rielle, and they said, "Nice, haha, good luck, have fun." So hey, shout out to our opponent. So playing against Resident Evil Zombie number 0324. And if you didn't know that, they barcode all of their zombies in Resident Evil. So I'm glad that our zombie opponent has figured out how to play Magic Online. We've got Command Tower on top of our library. Let's go and put that on the bottom for right now because we want to get some action. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Rielle, the Everwise, not the Riverwise. Rielle gets +1/+0 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Then, whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. Playing against Rielle, the Everwise, gets +1/+0 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Then, whenever you discard a card, one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. And our opponent's off. Already got Rielle on the battlefield. Howdy, partner. Howdy. Yeah, it's turn 2. We even have counters. We rip into counterspell, but the goggles, they do nothing. We've got Rielle on the battlefield. So I guess at this point we just end up going Fabled Passage. Yeah, I think that. No, excuse me. Well, either way, we're not going to be able to leave that up. So yeah, might as well just do this. Let's go and crack Fabled Passage, grab ourselves an island, and then anything else pass the turn to our opponent. So the only good thing is, our opponent does have Rielle on the battlefield. The only downside is they're going to get some one-sided card advantage. That does stink. But the good thing about this is that we are playing a wheel effect deck too. We don't really care about cards coming in and out of our hands. So hopefully we can get down Rielle pretty quick. And that, I need to add that to our deck. I forgot about that card. That's really good. Running effects like this is exactly where you want to take Rielle. I mean, that's some good magic right there. So we'll talk about whatever sort of game plan we also have in here. But seeing this happen, this is pretty good. So we got Madness. All right, so they opt not to return anything back. We appreciate. Oh, and we're ripping a mana drain. But let's have a Mountain come down. I think at this point, I really like leaving up Mana Drain because at this point we can hopefully catch like a wheel effect. If we can catch a wheel effect or any sort of cantrip, that's going to help us get some extra mana. It's going to power out Chromatic Lantern, and it's going to make this Wheel of Fortune just a little bit better. So hopefully we catch something good this turn, get some extra mana. If they're tapping out for 3, I think we're going to be in a oh yeah. Let's go Mana Drain on that bad boy. Oh, did they have a response? Let's see. Because if this sticks, this may be... Yeah, now they've got the old school volcanic island. Yep, there we go. I was like, if you got the old school volcanic island, they have an answer. All right, so we can't draw more than one card each turn. Man, this is a rut row. We'll see what we can do about this. But this is, if you're keeping score at home, you can definitely check. This is not looking good. Yeah, our opponent getting Rielle out really quick and then getting that Narset to resolve. That's pretty rough, partner. Because even if we go for this wheel effect, it's basically going to shut us out of the game almost, going for that wheel effect, because Narset's just going to be so brutal in keeping us locked down. It's not a lot of fun, but that's how Magic goes sometimes. Let's go Island. And we go Chromatic Lantern. And unfortunately, our opponent knows counter spells in the hand, so they can definitely play around it. If they want to jam jam like a wheel effect to kind of shut us out from drawing that extra card, they can. But at least having access to counterspell, it does feel pretty good. Now, they might have a free removal. A free counterspell. We'll see if they've got that. If not, then we'll definitely be online for counterspell. But, oh, man, getting that... if we could have got that Mana Drain to resolve on Narset, whoa. And this is where the game... I'm not saying we're going to lose. But that's where the game broke down to. If we keep Narset off the battlefield, we're probably going to win. Not win, but at least we have a fighting chance. Once that Narset resolved, we're pretty much just like fighting an uphill battle now. So we're going to try our best. We're not going to give up just yet. But typically when you look back at a game like this, when you've got two high-powered commanders squaring up against each other, when you have something that shuts off that one-sided effect like Rielle generates for you, that's pretty much going to be good game. So they're going to go for Ponder. We don't really need to rip a counterspell off of Ponder. I'm trying to figure out what we can do, because the way I've got this deck set up is we don't have a lot of interaction with Planeswalkers, simply because you just want to keep cards flowing in and out of your hand. So, okay, so yeah, I think we just end up going Rielle. I mean, that still keeps us open on counter magic. And if our opponent's got counterspell, they might want to stop Rielle and then kind of force this counterspell out of our hand. If that's the case, then we'll see. All right, they're going to go Force of Will. Let's just go and go Counterspell on this one. I mean, they know they have it in their hand. They saw it from Gitaxian Probe. I just want to exhaust them on anything that they've got. Frantic Search, okay. Because they don't have an answer and they're just banking on Frantic Search, then hopefully they whiff on something like that. But look how good Frantic Search is in a deck like this. Whoa. All right, this is going to be Snapcaster Mage on Spell Snare. Oh. It's like you walk into a commander room sometimes and then Rielle just jumps from the corner and like smacks you with that staff over there. That is what just happened. So we've been thoroughly beaten right now. Anything, we're gonna go and pass the turn. Yeah, there's just sometimes in Magic where you just get karate chopped in the head so hard that you just have a concussion. And you're like, yeah, we just. I'm good. Let's shuffle it up and move on to the next game. So we'll let them swing in because Rielle's already sitting at a 7. So that's going to get rid of us. We wheel a fortune into our set. That's not going to help us out. We can't throw a possibility. We just got beat up. Beat up pretty bad in a Is It alleyway. That's exactly what just happened. But it's always nice. It's cool to, as a fan of Rielle, it's definitely cool to kind of see different takes on it and how different effects like Narset can really just shut the game down for your opponent. So that's going to be a fiery activation. Okay, that's 17 total commander damage. That is. And also, don't sleep on Rielle. The fact that it's a 7/3, gets +1 for each instant or sorcery. Even though it doesn't have flying, there's a lot of times where you can close the game out with commander damage, and that is pretty good. So we're going to scoop it up on this one. We have no way to stop Rielle. Good game to our opponent. It's always nice when you've got Street Fighter versus Street Fighter. It's always fun to see who can close it out, and our opponent definitely got it on this one. So, like I mentioned, this game got down to Narset. If we stop Narset, we have a fighting chance, but our opponent had some pretty good answers for it. They stopped that mana drain and kept us locked down. So, anyway, if you enjoy the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Rielle, the Everwise. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got... Yeah, I think this is fine. Got Thousand Year Storm. I mean, Thousand Year Storm is definitely clunky in a deck like this, or at least an opening hand, but I mean, we don't really have any reason to ship this one back. So if we wanted to be more aggressive for some sort of card advantage, we certainly could, but we've got Remand, we've got Protection for Rielle, we've got Arcane Signet, so I feel pretty good about this. Let's see what's coming down. That's going to be Merchant Scroll, and let's see what they end up searching out of their library. That way we can kind of be online, or at least kind of be aware of whatever they could potentially be going for, and that's going to be a Force of Will. Okay, so... and that goes into your hand. All right, so we got Force of Will online for our opponent already. So, all right, let's have some fun. Oh, we got our own Force of Will. All right, let's go for Temple of Epiphany. Let's get the Scry and the Scurry going, the Fever, the Insanity, Prophetic Bolt on the bottom for right now, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Rielle the Everwise. Rielle gets +1/+0 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Then, whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. And then, yeah, that was it. We're also playing against Rielle, the other Everwise. Gets +1/+1 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Then, whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. Keeping score at home, they're exactly the same. That's how Magic goes. So, we'll see if they end up going for Rielle. We've got a pretty cool line of play. All right, they end up going for Magus. I like that. Because we can go for Remand on Rielle, and then that allows us to kind of Force of Will their own Rielle. And that's going to be really nice. Yeah, because Thousand Year Storm, that is nice once we get a lot of wheel effects going. But with the Thousand Year Storm, that's definitely a late game option to close the game out. That's what you're wanting to do. So let's go ahead and crack Scalding Tarn. That way we don't run into any sort of weird timing issue trying to go for Force of Will or something. So let's have Volcanic Island come down, and then anything else we will pass the turn. So hopefully we can Remand if our opponent ends up going for Rielle. We can go for the Remand, and then that'll cash in some card draw. If they end up getting rid of Force of Will, we've got our own Force of Will, super secret backup Force of Will to stop their Force of Will. And so that'll give us something to kind of work towards. So let's see what they're tapping at for. This might be Rielle. Let's jam this remand. There we go. That's going to be remand on Rielle. And it's going to... Ooh, they're going to go Mana League. Okay. So they've got Mana Leak on that. Do we want to force it? They've got 3 cards left in the hand. Do we want to force a will on this one? Yeah, I think we do. I mean, if they got another blue spell, they've got it. But yeah, I mean, this is the game. We've got to fight on this one. Let's go Mana Force of Will on Mana Leak. We know they have Force of Will. They've got 3 cards left in the hand. Let's see if they have another blue card to exile. That's what I'm banking on right now. Going to keep our fingers crossed. All right, that did end up working. All right, so we're going to send Rielle back to the... oh, no, excuse me. Okay, there they go. They're going to counter the remand off that. Okay, so they did end up having the Exiled Snapcaster Mage. So that's 1 card left in the hand. We're still in a pretty good spot. We're at the point now to where we can at least hopefully get Rielle on the battlefield. They do have Magus of the Bazaar active, which can allow them to draw a ton of cards. And so we're going to see what we can assemble for next turn. But at least going for Rielle, I feel like that should be a pretty good option. So let's go for Rielle. And as long as we have Rielle on the battlefield, that's going to allow us to at least kind of keep up with any wheel effects that they end up trying to go for. So anything else, pass the turn over to our opponent. Yeah, you know, going for that Force of Will, we knew they had Force of Will, and more than likely they had an answer in there. But yeah, at least just if they didn't have it and we can stop Rielle from happening, that feels like a pretty good plan. So it was worth a shot. So let's see if they have any spot removal. If we don't have any spot removal, I feel like we can try to jam Lightning Greaves next turn. We also have access to Key to the City, so we'll kind of see what else we can assemble for our turn. But yeah, you know, getting to play Rielle versus Rielle, I don't know, this is kind of fun. It's like, especially when you have Necasaur versus Necasaur. I mean, that's always just a blast to play. And with Rielle, it's a little bit more kind of tempo based, which is pretty cool. So our opponent's going to go for Bazaar of Baghdad, and we do have Bazaar of Baghdad in here, but they are getting some very nice card advantage at this point right now. So they're going to be swinging in for a 5-3. We're going to let that stick because we ain't got much else going on. And then let's see what we draw to. Draw to Metallurgic Summoning. So let's have Colosseum come down. Yeah, and I think we just try to stick this Lightning Greaves because if we have any shot at making it in this stack, we really need to make sure that we have Rielle stick around on the battlefield. Let's go for Lightning Greaves under Rielle. Fingers crossed they don't. There we go. I feel a lot better now. And let's just go for Key to the City. Because at this point, we can discard some cards, and we did not make the land drop. No, we did. We played Colosseum. And so what we'll do next turn is we'll discard a card, and then that'll allow us... All right, they're going to go for Bazaar in response. Ooh, and they end up going for Censor. Oh, that's a bummer. It's a bummer, partner. Anything else, let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. So, yeah, we can't have that come down, and we don't get an extra card draw. So, do we want to push in for 2? Yeah, we're not going to be leaving Rielle up. We might as well just get commander damage where we can, because it may make a difference. So, anything else, let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Now, if you have not seen my build of Rielle, what are we doing? This is kind of a Spellslinger version. Our opponent, yeah, they've got a very, very nice build of Rielle. We do have Bazaar of Baghdad in here, so that's another good option if we can draw into that, because Bazaar of Baghdad with Rielle is just, whoa, so good. The fact that you just get those extra... And actually, let's see. So Bazaar of Baghdad, that is, in real life, it's like $1,000. But on Magic Online, it is 16 cents. So, if you're on the fence about joining Magic Online, especially right now with everything going on, you can play Rielle with Bazaar Baghdad in there for less than a quarter. So that's one of the cool things about Magic Online is some of these super, really, really expensive cards that are so good in decks like this, you get to play with them. You know, it's kind of fun to be able to do different things like that. You know, it should be, I'm not saying Bazaar Baghdad should be 16 cents, but, the more people that can play the older Magic cards, the better. It's just nice to be able to experience that. So we've got some... Ooh, is that on us? No, it's on our opponent. All right, so they just dumped all their cards in the graveyard. So we'll see what we got going on. Oh, Traumatize. We didn't play around Traumatize. Oh, silly us. We should... Yeah, I was like, why does our opponent have Traumatize in there? Yeah, so that way you can get a 25-3 if somebody's snoozing over there. So good game to our opponent on this one. Man, we walked into the Rielle alleyway and just got punched in the face twice back to back. My goodness. Whew. All right, so I'm gonna put Rielle up for next time because after that beating, that's I need to switch decks. So, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. But yeah, well, if you came here for Rielle, you definitely got some good Rielle action. The only downside is it came from our opponent. But hey, that's Magic Goes. It's always nice to showcase a fun deck like that. It always makes people want to build decks. So that's always nice. So, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.